Facebook, the third largest company in the world. It has billions of users. It also owns Instagram and WhatsApp. So Instagram is the thing that Chantal was talking about. When I say market cap third biggest in the world, $473 billion. Mark Zuckerberg's company has done incredibly well. Price to earnings ratio of 35.4. That's come down quite a lot as a result of quite strong earnings. Not a dividend payer. Let's put the share chart up. You'll see what I'm talking about. The very handsome chart. It looks tremendous, and it doesn't even show the listing date because it listed and went down a bit for a while. Looks tremendous, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook has just been a top-class performer, and you just have to look at the monthly active user rates to know why. 1 in 3 people on Earth have monthly usership of Facebook. So even though they're not on there every single day, advertisers can still reach people through that platform, and that is only Facebook. Facebook also owns Instagram with 700 million users. They have WhatsApp, which is the second largest kind of messaging service in the world after WeChat, that we'll talk about later. And then also Messenger, that is making some good inroads. Ultimately, what these social media platforms have done is they've completely changed the way that we consume information, that we get news, and that we get advertising, because people don't really sit in front of the television and get television ads anymore because you want on-demand TV. No one reads the newspaper anymore except if the newspaper puts on their little headlines on Twitter. And ultimately, our advertisers are going to reach you and sell you stuff, which is what they really want to do, and which is a trillions of dollars of $1 trillion industry worldwide. They need to be on social media.
So they're either going to go social media or they're going to go search. And as far as social media is concerned, the powerful point that needs to be made every time is that Facebook actually knows a lot about you, because it knows how old you are, it knows where you live, it knows who you're in a relationship with, it knows when you travel, it knows what kind of activities you do, and it knows that because it knows who you follow, and it knows who you interact with, what you like. So it can sell its advertisers the ability to deliver stuff to you which is relevant to you. And that's extremely important, whereas the old style of television, print, and billboard advertising, they actually didn't know at all who was seeing those ads. Now they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And this falls into that whole story about big data and artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence isn't necessarily a robot that's smarter than you. It's just the ability for machines to learn what you are actually looking at, and to target advertisement a lot more directly and individualistically.
It's just churning through all of those data points.
So Facebook has finally, I think the previous time we spoke about it, Facebook and Instagram has finally given up on me having a baby. So I'm getting a lot better kind of response or advertising, targeted advertising now. I've been getting a lot of kind of fashiony stuff, which is what I'm really into. And no more clear blue. So I'm actually quite relieved.
I get a lot of ads for sports equipment, and somehow or another ads that relate to workout regimes for older guys.
Wow, so it knows how old you are, and it knows you work out all the time. I mean, that's impressive.
I'm an active sort of runner type person, so they're obviously trying to sell me all sorts of things appropriate.
Is it at least running equipment, or is it something completely random?
No, it's mostly like some older guy who works out a lot. It's about like testosterone supplements or something.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what I did eventually, but I get those, and then I get a lot of ads, interestingly, locally for things like Nike, Adidas, Total Sports, because I can tell that all of the things that I do are related to my running gang and my running friends, because that's kind of on Facebook in relation to the way that I update and post those things.
No, I mean, it's just, it's super interesting. And the way it learns as well, because as I said to you, I mean, it used to say, are you pregnant? Now it's saying you obviously don't care anymore. So it's clever.
Just as far as this is concerned, I mean, there are people who think that what's going to happen is, as Facebook gets larger, that the state, whether it's the European Union or the US government or something, is going to decide that it's inappropriate that they know so much about you, and that it raises these issues about antitrust concerns. In other words, they may get so big and powerful that it's perceived that they should be split up. Do you see that as a real threat?
Yeah, I mean, obviously these are real concerns, but ultimately, if Facebook is split up, it might be split up geographically, but it will still have kind of an overarching holding company. I don't think that these guys can really actually say, we're going to split this company into 1 million pieces because you have to.
Because there's a lot of voluntary buy-in. There's the ability to turn certain things off if you want to, so on and so forth.
Absolutely, and you can they can kind of custom make Facebook per geography and do it that way, but regulatory risk certainly is there, and I mean it's even more evident in a place like China.
Okay, well, let's just talk two issues about Facebook in terms of earnings. So we can see they've delivered on mobile earnings. There's no concern there. It needs to be also understood by the viewers out there that Facebook makes quite a lot of money in America from advertising, a little bit in Europe, but not very much anywhere else in the world. So the opportunity for them to grow is partly as a result of that internationalization theme, right? Correct?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. Data costs are still pretty high in emerging markets. We still have pretty low smartphone penetration rates. And as these things start changing, and they really are, I mean, we can see that in South Africa as an example, you should see revenue growth from advertising on those platforms in those countries increase a little bit. And it's not just geographically, but also the different platforms, because there's still a lot of scope for Instagram to increase its ad loads. 700 million monthly active users and climbing
fast.
And I mean, if we just look at Instagram Insta Stories, which we spoke about a little bit earlier, and what I'm actually doing today, Instagram Stories started towards the end of last year. It was competing against Snapchat, that at that point in time had 200 million daily active users or whatever. Snapchat is more or less at the same place. Instagram has 250 million daily Insta Stories.
So they basically migrated there.
And completely surpassed Snapchat.
All the cool kids went to Instagram Stories.
Absolutely. So there's still scope there. And I've actually started seeing videos being played on my Insta Stories as well. So that's also an interesting
And there's all the kind of commercial sponsorship and support. So people get paid that are followed a lot in order to work with and develop and advertise and profile products. So there's all kinds of opportunities in amongst all of that as well.
Absolutely my dream.
Okay, so Facebook at the current level, it took a little bit of a tumble yesterday. You can see that down 4.5%. That was on some rather odd news related to Mark Zuckerberg, who wants to give a certain chunk of stock to his charitable foundation. He's decided against issuing a new class of non-voting shares, and there was a bit of a kind of a minor setback related to that. But as far as I'm concerned, this is it's a part of the way the world is moving, and it's silly not to own these in an international portfolio.
Yeah, and that PE of 35 times for a stock like this is expected to unwind very, very quickly over time. It's definitely a hot from my side as well.
Excellent, hot on that one.